How do you turn 16 games, injury reports, team notes, betting lines, and matchup trends into one clear weekend preview? ChatGPT Work can help. Give it the goal, plus real inputs like notes, files, data, and project plans. It can help turn them into an analysis tracker, deck outline, or workflow you can keep shaping. You stay in control, reviewing the work, and choosing the final result. Put ChatGPT to work on your most ambitious ideas and projects. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting Work Mode. Available on Plus and Pro plans. Scams don't always look like scams anymore. AI can make a fake ticket offer look legit or a sportsbook text sound official. And once an identity thief gets your personal information, they can start using your name like it belongs to them. And then what? LifeLock helps detect potential identity threats and suspicious activity. And if identity theft happens, LifeLock's restoration specialists can help restore your identity, guaranteed, because only LifeLock truly protects your name and identity. Get LifeLock at LifeLock.com and use promo code FOOTBALL for up to 30% off your first year. That's LifeLock.com, code FOOTBALL.
Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. So tackle your home improvement projects by Saturday and earn your Sunday with great deals on LG and Bosch appliances, select Ego, DeWalt, Filtrete products, and more. Then once your to-do list is done, get ready to kick back, relax, and enjoy the game. Shop in-store or online now and earn your Sunday with help from Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League.
Yeah! Touchdown!
Panther Talk. Panther Talk. Panther Talk.
This is Panther Talk, presented by Firehouse Subs on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
Starts left, cuts inside, touchdown! Jonathan Brooks going back over the middle. That's dangerous, and it's intercepted. Twisting inside the 5, down to the goal line, into the end zone. Touchdown, A.J. Dillon.
To see guys just operate at the line again offensively, have clean football. On the defensive side, same thing. Not a lot of penalties there. So that's good winning football, and that's our style. And I'm glad that the guys are able to just continue to build week to week on what's been a really good camp.
And now, along with Jim Zakee and Eugene Robinson, here's Anish Shroff with Panther Talk, live from the Panthers broadcast facility at Bank of America Stadium.
And welcome to Panther Talk. Anish Shroff, Eugene Robinson, Jim Zakee. We get set for the final week of the preseason. Two big events. On Wednesday, the Houston Texans in town for a joint practice. Dave Canales wants to get a long look at his ones on offense. It'll be a great test. The Texans have the best defense in the NFL, 3 All-Pros. They got Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson bookending your D-line.
Watch out.
Stingley on the back end of the defense. This is a defense that is championship caliber. It's a great measuring test for this offense. And then Friday, Eugene, you've played in some of these games, the last preseason game. This is a chance for some of the guys in the second, third, fourth string to audition for a spot on the 53, a spot on the practice squad, or a spot on somebody else's 53 or practice squad.
Absolutely. And I think we are really, like, from the receiver standpoint, from the running back standpoint, there's a lot of guys who are really, really good who won't make this team. And so Friday night is your calling card. You got to go ahead and show out because you want to have a great, great game, a great special teams game for you on any special teams or whatever your position is, because if you don't make this team, you're lobbying to the other 31 teams, hey, pick me. I'm a guy. Pick me. If not, put me on the practice squad, develop me a little bit, and I'm going to show you what I can do. That's what these guys are fighting for. So this will be a big night, and it's also a big time for the coaches because they got to really trim the fat, and they got to find out if the guys that they think who can do the job can do the job. And so it's going to be a really interesting game.
Jim at practice today, Darren Waller was in pads, and he was going through it. To me, with Waller now part of the tight end mix, that position room, I think, has all the attention going into this last week.
It's you guys named receiver and running back, but yeah, tight end is just like, again, this is what you want if you're a coaching staff and the management. You want to have tough decisions. Yes. You don't be like, gosh, I don't think we have enough guys to fill out this room. So it's the exact opposite. because Waller's kind of a specialty. You don't have 6'6" red zone threat. You've got Tommy Tremble and to me Mitchell Evans are guys that can do both.
Yeah.
They can block. They can catch the ball. Felipe Franks last week, Coach Canales said one of the best special teams players in the league who can play tight end and is a big target in the receiving game. So JT Sanders is right on that bubble to me as far as guys in his third year who, again, has had a lot of potential. He's battled some injuries and so forth there, but that's going to be one of those close calls, I think, as far as which way they're going to go.
It's definitely going to be a close call, and really your production, how healthy that you stay, and what you can do on special teams makes a huge, huge difference. It really does. And so when you're just a positional player, and we're talking about that you're on the bubble and you can't do something else, you're not running down on a punt, you're not running down on a kickoff, you're not running down on a punt return. If you're not involved in that stuff, then that bubble, your name becomes that name that gets cut. And then so from you really got to show out. So this is a great chance too, because don't forget they're going to be practicing with the Texans. And so, a guy's going to get a good chance to find out where they fit and what they need to do come Friday night. The guys that are on the bubble. They'll be able to see what their competition looks like and decide, hey, I got to go ahead. If I get out there, I got to show out.
Yeah, and for some teams, maybe you do carry 5 tight ends. The Panthers, they're mostly an 11 personnel team. 2/3 of their snaps on offense out of 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 running back.
That's right.
They ran 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends 20% of the time. So I don't see them carrying 5 tight ends.
No.
And you mentioned Felipe Franks, his value on special teams. You got Tracy Smith going to bat for you there. It's a big week for JT Sanders.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a couple guys, I'm not trying to jump around positions here, but who've been around for about that same amount of time. Trevin Wallace at linebacker, I think about.
Yeah.
I think about Achan at running back. Again, these are guys that you can see it going either way, but they're all kind of like third, fourth round picks who've been around for like 3 years in the system. So it's really kind of like, all right, now's the time to be like your best version of yourself if you're going to make this football team.
And don't forget, Tyus and Dillon have been balling out. A.J. Dillon, good luck tackling him. He's going to run over your mama and your grandmama. He don't care. He's going to run over. I seen him run over a mascot one time. So I'm just letting you know, this dude is absolutely no joke. And every time he gets in the game, the little that he does is production. The same thing I could say for Jimmy Horn. When Jimmy Horn gets in the game, it's production. That dude just produces all the time. So, I mean, and that's what you really want. You want to see your guys produce. And here it is. There's no Chris Brazzell. Because that would only just convolute everything else.
Because, make it that much better.
Yeah, because this team is really stacked with really good personnel.
With those 2 skill position guys you mentioned, Dillon and Jimmy Horn, do special teams.
Yep.
And they also bring something different to each of those groups. With Dillon, that's the best power back you've got, short yardage, goal line. And then with Jimmy Horn, you mentioned Brazzell got hurt. He's your fastest receiver. And so in his development, putting weight on and also being as fast as he is, this is a great opportunity for him, I think.
And then it's the confidence that you can see that Jimmy Horn's confidence has just been growing and growing. Every time he touches the ball, every time he's targeted, he's realizing that, hey, they're trying to give me a good chance, and I can't blow this. And so you can see his production has really stepped up.
And I know on that fly sweep, he had that huge 39-yard run. He went almost 21 miles per hour on the jet sweep, on the GPS, excuse me. But they've moved him around. I think last year it almost felt when he was in the game, you kind of got the sense, I think of the fumble against New Orleans, he felt like I got to hit a home run every time I'm in the game because I have limited opportunities. I'm not getting a ton of snaps. And he was used for the most part as a gadget guy. They've used him at X. They've used him at Z. They've used him in the slot. They have used him as a gadget guy. He got a chance to return punts. Jimmy Horn went into camp. I think we all sort of felt as a guy who was very much competing for a roster spot. I think Jimmy Horn's got a spot on the 53. He's got to, right?
Agreed.
I mean, he's had a tremendous camp.
Yeah, but who I think is going to be tough is that running back in ETN. I think he's
Chan now.
Okay, my bad. I stand correctified. But here it is. He's a good running back. But they're stacked. Yeah. They are stacked. You got Chuba. You got Brooks. Tice has been balling out. He's just been showing up. And then like when we talk about A.J. Dillon, he's being that power back. You need a guy like that who can get that 1 yard and run through a linebacker. You need a guy who may run through 2 people. Mm-hmm. And so this is really, really tough, but this is a great position that the coaching staff has been in a long time to have that much talented people and go, well, if we cut this guy right here, we still got this guy.
I hope that everywhere else in the league where they're doing Cardinal talk and Titans talk and all that stuff, that they feel like they have those guys too, like, hope we can stash them on the practice squad, because some of these guys, you have to at least attempt to put them on the practice squad because you want to retain them because it's a long season and there's going to be injuries and you'd love to have them available to be called up. I mentioned Jakeem Reed. He's been all last year on the practice squad, and now he's a guy that's got a great opportunity to make in this roster this year.
I forgot about him. He's been stellar. Absolutely stellar.
And again, for somebody like Reed trying to make the team, availability matters. And he was hurt. He didn't play in the game against Jacksonville. So, again, let's say the Panthers take 6 wide receivers. You know, you got your top 3. It's McMillan, it's Coker, it's Leggett. Bryson Tremaine seems to have every vote of confidence from this staff. He seems to be wide receiver 4.
I know.
If Jimmy Horn's your 5th guy, that leaves 1 spot. So you've got Reed. John Mechie. Again, you know, we treat him as a veteran who's played a lot. He's been through injuries. He's beat a cancer diagnosis. He's a great story. When the lights go on, Jim, he's played well in these preseason games.
No.
And I know you could, second string, third string.
I don't care.
Those guys. He catches the ball. He makes plays when he's targeted. It turns into something positive for the most part. So is Mechie a guy that you can hide on the practice squad if he doesn't make a team?
Probably less so because of his veteran experience, that he's more known around the league, whereas, like, I'm not saying this is the way it's going to play out. I'm just spitballing here. But somebody like Reed would be easier to put there as far as the percentage odds of it being picked. Mechie's got the Alabama connection, of course, with Bryce. He can also do special teams. You're right about Tremaine because not only is he all you said at receiver and a bigger target, could do any phase of special teams as far as being out there and helping.
Plus blocker.
Yes. So he's on the team. So you're really down to that last spot. The guy who's really, he's been in and out the last couple of years with the injury is David Moore. But,
that's right, yeah.
But I think, David Moore's a veteran guy. Like, he's like our Aaron Donald. Like, if we had to call somebody, say, hey, what are you doing this week? I mean, he'd come back and be a Panther for Dave Canales because they've got a great place to go. But I think at some point you have to take these younger options and see what you got.
One more name, which is going to be fascinating. Haynes King did not practice today. We're taping this show on Monday. No Haynes King out there, so it was Pickett, Bryce Young, Kyle Trask. King had that debut against Arizona. He looked dynamite. 7 million people watched. So it's not like this guy is somebody who's a secret who you can bury. What happens with Haynes King here over this last week? Dave Canales said they expect him back and healthy for week 1. But again, I think that's going to be a tough guy to hide. You look at our own division. Right, you're telling me a Georgia Tech quarterback, if he's available, the Falcons wouldn't pounce, given their quarterback situation.
He might be their best quarterback.
Might
he's
be the
not
best
in Atlanta
quarterback right now.
No, I agree. It's like it's tough. He played so well, and then you've got Kenny Pickett, the veteran. So at least you have a guy that's been around the league for about 5 years that can run an offense. That's kind of like the predictable backup quarterback spot there. Haynes King played part of a preseason game. He's an undrafted rookie, so. Yes, you don't want to lose him, but he's developmental at this point. And can you spare a spot on the 53 for a developmental third quarterback? He's not your second quarterback in this moment, I wouldn't think. So that's a tough call there, too, and you don't want to give up that opportunity for him.
It's a tough call, too, for a team, again, that's coming off a playoff berth. If this was still in the rebuilding phase and you have a developmental guy like Haynes King, it's a lot easier to stomach it and say, okay, we'll take you on the 53 as the third quarterback when you know you're not going to play. It's more to protect you and to protect the team from losing you. You're kind of in a window now where there's expectations. That's going to be a big challenge here.
It would be the equivalent to like trying to hide Tyler Shough from the Saints when he just balled out, and you see King ball out the way he balled out. You can't hide that production. There's no way you can hide that production. So, wow, he gets back. I think he's on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Marco's Pizza, a proud partner of the Carolina Panthers, is serving up handcrafted pizzas all season long. Whether you're celebrating game day with friends and family or enjoying a meal at home, Marco has you covered. Visit your local Marco's Pizza or order online today. You're listening to the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
This is Panther Talk, presented by Firehouse Subs on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network. Brought to you by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do?
For me, the most important part is just to see our play style show up, and we played a physical style of football. We were able to run the ball. Bryce was extending plays, finding guys down the field. Kenny got in there, moved the ball, found some nice throws in some critical situations. Defensively speaking, really put pressure on the quarterbacks, and they found some success. This is a really good staff with great scheme, but it's great to have back-to-back road games. We're getting really comfortable with this process. I talk about it. I say these are championship opportunities. They really are, and we have to be able to travel well, show up, and play a full game of football, and that's what our guys did.
Back here on Panther Talk, Anish Shroff with head coach Dave Canales. Let's go back to Friday. After what you saw from the first team in Buffalo to Jacksonville, what were your thoughts about just how they performed and how they moved the ball?
Oh, it was excellent just to have a reset. The one thing that was apparent to me in the Buffalo game was we needed to get our run game going, and we needed to stop the run. And the first defense did a good job in the run game against the Bills. The Bills found some explosive plays in the pass game. You flip over to the Jacksonville week, and it was a lot more consistent against the run on both sides, which allows us to play the football that we want to play. So good complementary football. Took it away from them twice. Should have had a third one. I should have challenged. They had a punt return that definitely went off of their one of their vice players on that rep. I thought I saw it live. We didn't have any pictures of it, but we could have been +3 in the turnover on that one, and we were able to basically win every critical variable category that you can have in a game. You're going to win games when you do that. So I was really proud of just in general the good football played, and only having 5 penalties was fantastic. And that's been a consistent thing throughout the preseason, is to see the low amount of penalties that are coming out of it, which just means we know what we're doing and we're in great position. Typically penalties happen when you're out of position, so the guys are understanding what to do and how to play ball.
Describe the moment when you saw Jonathan Brooks get into the end zone.
It was special, for a guy like JB that has spent a lot of his career in the end zone, whether it was at Texas or before as a high school player, a very comfortable place for him. But that was his first NFL touchdown, preseason or regular season alike. So to get him back in there, in our schemes, stuff that Brad and Goody had worked on, and to watch JB execute it is a beautiful thing and a sign of things to come.
The running back room overall, it seems there's a lot of guys making plays. As you kind of try to figure out where the pieces fit, without getting too much into detail and revealing the secret sauce, where do you kind of feel the challenges will lie for you and Dan Morgan over the next week or so?
We have good problems. We have great opportunities on the offensive side where, we feel like at the wide receiver position, we got 7 guys that we'd love to keep, probably 8. Tight end wise, there's 5 guys. Running back room, there's 4, and then Trey Tyus is running the ball like a madman. Offensive line is the same thing. Some guys that we know and love, kind of sitting in those backup roles in the interior with Brady and with Chandler, and then you got Stone Forsythe and Albert Reese, who are having great preseason. So, we're not going to be able to keep all of them, and we're going to have to make the best decisions we feel like works for the Panthers. And on the defensive side, some great competition battles for guys to make that starting 11 group. And some great film to evaluate. We got another great opportunity this week for guys to show us what they can do.
What is the plan for Houston, starting with the Wednesday joint practice?
Yes, so the joint practice, D'Amico and I have done this before. We really enjoy practicing against each other because of style of how we practice. We're a physical group. We like to play football. And so it just makes sense to the guys when they're hitting each other and it gets really physical. Nobody really takes it personal. And we didn't have any scuffles the first time we practiced, went down there in Houston, because guys are used to that, And so I'm looking forward to another really physical day. A great chance for us to evaluate guys like Darren Waller, who's getting his first action out there on the field. So what better opportunity than to do it in a controlled joint practice setting against a new opponent. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, there's all those guys that are still trying to show us what they can do. This is a great opportunity.
Last thing, when you look at their defense, especially 3 All-Pros on that first-team defense, for your first-team offense, could you ask for a better dress rehearsal in terms of an opponent who's going to amplify your strengths and probably your weaknesses too?
Yeah, another great, Jacksonville's got a great front as well. And the first guy I think about is Monroe Freeling. He needs all of these reps. And I feel blessed that we were able to do that with the Jags, with Josh Hines-Allen and with Walker on the other side, and those guys flipping back and forth in one-on-one pass rush and then playing, the move the ball periods. And now all of a sudden we get another great group of guys with the Houston Texans coming in here and Will Anderson in the group, and the depth, because they coach those guys really well. They play so hard. It's going to be a great evaluation process for our front.
Panther Talk continues after this on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
Panther Talk, presented by Firehouse Subs, continues on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network. Brought to you by Coke. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Here with Panthers rookie Zakee Wheatley, joining us from Penn State, 5th-round pick. And for you, just overall, preseason, training camp, first NFL experience go around, how's it all feel for you so far?
It feels amazing. It's all a blessing. Working my whole life to get in this position, and then now just getting here and making sure that I can elevate and be the best version of myself every day, just so I, don't take the experience for granted. It's what I wanted my whole life. I'm here now, so time to take it all the way.
Stats are what they are for a preseason game. However, going back to the Canton game against Arizona, you led the team with 8 tackles in that game. How did it feel to just get out there and be able to be that productive?
I want to start off with, first thing first, we got that win on the game winner. That was the best experience of it all. And then second of all, just me going out there and doing my job. Tackles are going to come. I didn't look too much into it. It's first one on the grass, so have a lot more of improvement to do, and I'm ready to start that.
Who are your teammates, in addition to the coaches, but as far as your teammate players that are the veteran guys that are kind of helping you right now at this juncture?
A lot of the safeties, of course. We got Nick Scott, who's a Penn State guy, who me and him became very close. Someone like Trey, who, you come out here every day and see how he works and see how he operates, and me being a young player, is definitely something that I want to model and, trying to pickpocket things that I see from veteran guys. Rasheed Walker's another one of them who went to Penn State with me, who I've gotten real close with. So just seeing different things they do in terms of their routine and finding much mine.
How did playing at a high-profile Big Ten school like Penn State prepare you for a time like this?
It prepared me a lot. Coach James Franklin did an amazing job. My safety coach was Coach Anthony Poindexter, College Football Hall of Fame and a Super Bowl winning safety in the league. So having that, what's the word? I'll say that program and that guide before I came here, just in terms of work ethic, special teams, and really the whole nine. Penn State does a great job preparing guys for the next level.
Every year you do, but last year there were really high expectations going into the season for you guys at Penn State last year. How was that within the locker room? And, of course, the coach having to leave and ends up at Virginia Tech this year.
Obviously being a leader in that room and on that team, obviously just trying to, lead by example. We had some unfortunate events, and at that point of the season, there's not much we can do but, strap our helmets up every day, get better, and go out there and play for each other, and that's what me being a veteran guy try to do for our team.
How does an NFL practice compare to a high-level college practice experience?
It's a lot of similarities when it comes to just how the practice goes into special teams, one-on-ones. Obviously, the standards are standard, regardless of where you're at. So as long as you're coming out here every day, giving it your all every rep, it's pretty similar.
All right, Zakee, best training camp the rest of the way to you. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Panther Talk continues after this.
This is Panther Talk, presented by Firehouse Subs on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network. Brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Anish Shroff here with Steve Smith, senior Panthers legend. As you look at this Carolina Panthers 2026 roster, where do you feel this team's greatest strengths lie?
I mean, it has to be the defense. Right, and the reason I say the defense, you want it to be offense. I'm an offensive-minded guy, but I also believe currently right now, offensively, we're still trying to figure things out. We just got Jonathan Brooks back, right? Chris Brazzell, a second-round draft pick who was really looking to add another level of explosion to the offense, and he's injured. And then you have Jaseen Reed, who is showing that he just works hard. And then you have Tremaine. He's a guy that's in position to really show that he can add some depth to the wide receiver and an excellent grinding special teamer. So with that all being said, the offense is still finding their way, trying to figure out how all these individual guys can contribute. But in defense, we already know J.C. Horn, Mike Jack out on the outside. Now we're trying to figure out the nickel position, but we have the safety position already taken care of. The linebacker situation, Claudius and Wallace are going at it. But again, you know who. We're just trying to figure out which cream will rise to the top. And so when you're looking at that, I believe that you have to give the defense that their concrete, their foundation is more in the curing stages. And the offense, we're pouring the concrete, but it hasn't been cured, and I think that's a great thing.
Let's jump to the offense real quick. Wide receiver, your position. A guy that you were on from the beginning, Jalen Coker. Mm-hmm. If he's healthy going into the season, what does that mean for Bryce Young and the rest of the offense?
I think it just means another level and another way to attack the defense. T-Mac is going to get his. He is the alpha, the number one he's wide receiver one. However, the best way you can be effective and the best way you can maximize everything out of your wide receivers are having a number two and a number three. You got to feed your guys. But understanding the defense's job is to eliminate and to take away the primary targets. So if you could take away T-Mac, you have to have someone else that the team will have to concern themselves with. And so if you have those guys, then everything will be good.
What about somebody like Xavier Legette? What have you seen in terms of growth from XL from last year to this year?
Truthfully, I don't know, because the season hasn't started. We can't really give him a hall pass, or we can't give him a passing grade or a fail grade because the season hasn't started. He's been through some things professionally that you don't really want to see your first round pick go through, but that's the great part about this game is when you go through the journey, right? When you get knocked down, if you can look up, you can get up. And I think he's gotten up. Now let's see, how does he handle the pressure? Because we all have pressure on us, right? You can make diamonds or it can flood the basement. But at the end of the day, the control of controllables, which is him, his bandwidth, and how he sees the game, and take this challenge and this opportunity as something to say, hey, people don't think I deserve to play or be in my position. Well, he gets the greatest opportunity we all want as competitors. He gets to prove everybody wrong.
Last one, you talk about pressure. You're in the tight end room. You watch the team sign Darren Waller. One, what does Waller's signing mean for the offense? And two, if you're the other guys in that tight end room, how do you intake that?
Well, the guys that are in that room, first of all, I haven't spoken to them. I've just observed. But I would tell you the competitiveness out of these guys, for one, they should be irritated, at least, right, initially. They should feel like that it is a clear indication that they believe they need someone else. That's great. We love competition. However, I know Darren Waller. He was drafted the Baltimore Ravens 6th-round pick out of Georgia Tech. I know him very well, and I know what he brings to the table, and I know why they brought him here. Unfortunately, the other people in the room, the other tight ends who had that position, they also are reading the tea leaves and are writing on the wall. So you got two things you can do. You can cry, you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can get up and say, hey, you may take my job, but you ain't going to take it without getting nicked, right? Without feeling the pressure that I will apply on you that you have to be perfect.
I was waiting for the ice up, son, but I think it was implied. Steve Smith Sr.
Appreciate it.
Panther Talk continues after this on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
Panther Talk, presented by Firehouse Subs, continues on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
With Jim Zakee and Eugene Robinson and Anish Shroff. Wednesday, the Panthers have a joint practice with the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, those two top two picks in the draft back in 2023. They'll be connected for the rest of their careers, but it's this Houston defense that I think offers the Panthers as good of a dress rehearsal as you can ask for going into the regular season. By all accounts, on paper, this is the most talented defense in the NFL. It is Super Bowl caliber. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Stingley. They've got guys at every level, right? Al Shahir. I mean, there are playmakers everywhere. You got a great defensive-minded coach in D'Amico Ryans. So if you're Brad Idzik and you're the offensive staff, what do you need to see, Eugene, from your offense?
First of all, you need to get the ball out quickly. When you drop back, get the ball out quickly. Secondly, I really believe your offensive line is going to have the biggest test they've had. You got to go ahead and block, and they got some monsters up there, and you got to block. And you better come up with some really nice schemes so that you can exploit a weakness. This is the best defense in the National Football League, all right? They are just that good. So I'm expecting one of them drag-out fights, and I'm not expecting them to come in there and try to push the Panthers' offensive line around. And so this is going to be a great test. And how you do it, Coach Idzik, you got man-to-man, just get it. I would go 12 personnel. I'm going to get me another tight end in the game. I'm going 12 personnel, and I'm having guys on that line of scrimmage to fight.
What about this, though? If you're Monroe Freeling, rookie right tackle, back-to-back weeks in joint practice. Against Jacksonville, you get Trayvon Walker and then Josh Hines-Allen. Now Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. Maybe you don't put the tight end. Maybe you say, let's see how Monroe Freeling does, because it's an opportunity to get big-time reps and grow up fast, which is what you need now.
Yep. And Buffalo, not a bad defense, by the way.
That's right, yeah.
So you've got three in a row, and this is what you want. This is where you want to get your work in, because we're not going to be seeing any of those names you just said come Friday night. So you're in the practice on Wednesday. And if they are, it's like a series, but even that I doubt. But I think in this case, that's great work coming up on Wednesday to have those opportunities for him. And at least they had the chance to know the injury situation of Taylor Moton, to put him in there from the start of camp so he could prepare for right versus left. Jordan Gross used to tell us things like, because he started as a right tackle, went to the Super Bowl that first year, becomes a left tackle throughout his career, was a left tackle in college. He goes, imagine picking up a fork and eating left-handed, or writing your name left-handed. That's what it's like to go from right to left tackle and so forth. Not as easy as, you might think it is. Just go through your whole day. Just use your left hand if you're right-handed. And so same thing with football. It's no different there, except you're dealing with, some 300-pound or 280-pound agile player on the other side that you're trying to block.
And here is when I was thinking about the two tight end package. You could get like tray formations. You can double the tight ends up, and you can get double team blocks in different places.
Unbalanced line.
Yeah, you could do a lot of good stuff like that. So I'm expecting that coach is going to go ahead and have maybe some two tight end system, or at least package, or at least they'll practice something like that when you're going against a defense that's just that stout. Because you got to protect your quarterback, and you got to let your running back go ahead and eat. But they got to have some clean areas where they can go and hit the hole and get out. But it's going to be very difficult because this, like I said, they're no joke. They're no joke at all. Will Anderson is one of the best. He's one of the best. He's just one of the best in the business. That's like saying Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, the other guy, Danielle Hunter's not bad either.
He ain't bad.
I remember a joint practice last year against the Texans in Houston. He walked off the field, and it looked like some Renaissance sculptor had chiseled him out of marble. You're going, oh, my gosh, that's a human being.
And that's not their best player.
No. I will say this, though. If the offense shows well in Wednesday's joint practice, and against Jacksonville it was a mixed bag, started slow, better toward the end of it. If the offense shows well against Houston, it's a very promising sign for the season. And one thing that I'll be looking for, how much do they use Tetairoa McMillan in the slot? Because that was the thing that jumped out in the Jacksonville game. They put him in the slot. They got him on a linebacker early.
Oh, yeah.
The only chance he had was to basically embrace Tetairoa McMillan and take the flag. Being able to move him around and play him inside more to manipulate matchups, that is a legitimate chess piece now for Brad Idzik.
Because that's what Coker gives you. Coker gives you the ability to let T-Mac go inside and be because now you got another big receiver on the outside who could go ahead and outrun you and who does a great job of stacking defensive backs. I don't know how he does it, but he puts the guy on his hip and he's able to go ahead and I'm talking about Coker and just keep him at bay. I'm like, dude, this dude stacks defensive backs, just as well as anybody in the league. And so now that you've moved, if you can move T-Mac in or you can have him go some motion and do some stuff, that's just a weapon. You're going to have to put a safety or drop down a corner on him because you can't put a linebacker on him. I'm not sure a linebacker can cover him. I just don't see it.
I think this coaching staff is that way about offense and defense because of being multiple. Because you look at the same thing, J.C. Horn, moving him to that inside slot at times and seeing if they can handle it when he's not at the outside corner spot, just to have that different look. And I think they just want to be able to make it more challenging for the other team, but in a productive way. It's not just a look, but that can produce out of those different alignments, offense and defense. So I think that's what the Panthers are doing is like kind of maximizing that 53-man roster.
Yeah, and especially like when you think about J.C. Horn going inside, now typically you put one of your better receivers and have them do all that motion type stuff. You put a J.C. Horn on, well, that kind of shuts things down. Just a little bit, it shuts it down. And now you're telling Jack to hold up, or is that Will Lee holding up on the outside? I mean, if they hold up, and which they most likely will, you've just got a major chess piece. And now you could do stuff like they did with Leroy Butler, just blitzing off the edge and having the safety come down, and you could do a lot of stuff with that. So that's a really great place to be in. So I love it, like you said, on both sides of the ball, having one of your top players go inside. That makes the world of difference, and it opens up an entire playbook.
Mm-hmm. Steve Young on line one probably still having nightmares about Leroy Butler blitzing.
I know. Look, and if I would have a blitz, if Fritz Sherman called a blitz for me, I'm like, Roy, you take this blitz, I'm going to uncover. Because I know he's going to get there, right? And I might get an interception because he's going to go ahead and get in the face of Steve Young.
We've seen JC be a very effective blitzing corner just coming on the regular corner blitz. But, again, that's dependent on Will Lee being able to man the outside. Even somebody like Shaw Smith-Wade, what you saw Friday against Jacksonville, Shaw Smith-Wade got his reps on the outside. Now, remember, he played outside corner in high school, played it in college. His first snap at nickel came in the Senior Bowl. So nickel is a position he learned as a pro. We're not asking him to be J.C. Horn, but if he can be league average on the outside, that allows you to do more with J.C. Horn, move him around, whether it's a star, whether it's a nickel. One thing that we've heard, Coach Avero talk about is they want to be more matchup determined when it comes to how they deploy number 8, J.C. Horn.
No, absolutely. You want to give your best players the chance to be featured.
Yep.
And, again, sometimes it's not in the pass game. If you're a cornerback, putting them closer into the box is something as a run defender or a blitzer. So I think it's really smart, and it's developmental to do that here in this offseason. They're getting a lot of reps and looks at that now, and then you hit the ground running come the regular season where they're comfortable doing that. Like you said, you have to have those other players to be able to man those positions at least for a number of reps during the course of the game to make sure because they're going to be looking at that and say, okay, JC's here. Do we exploit 26 over there? At least try to.
Yep.
And hopefully he can hold his own when those opportunities come. Or you mentioned Will Lee, same thing. And they've been very impressed with Will Lee and the size that he brings. And just for being a rookie who hasn't played in a regular season game yet, he's looked really good in the reps that he's gotten out there during training camp and in these games.
And I thought that Mike Jack made a big statement last year that says that you think I'm the other corner that can't do anything else? He became one of the best corners in the league. And everybody was talking about J.C. Horn, but I was like, hey, Mike Jack is saying, hey, you better look at me right now. And so he still brings that same type of energy, and he has that cachet already. He's very, very good. So I think it puts us in a great position. And it's only going to make the safeties that much better because there's going to be a lot of tip balls. The ball's going to be overthrows. There's going to be a lot of things because you got some really good corners who can go ahead, stick with these guys, and force bad throws.
Yeah, and the other part of that is the pass rush, which has been encouraging in this preseason, especially during the games. Jalen Phillips was getting into the backfield with his inside moves against Buffalo, against Jacksonville. Pat Jones, who missed most of last year with the back, he comes up with a sack. Princely was getting consistent pressure as well.
What? I keep looking at Prince. I'm like, this dude keeps showing up. Mm-hmm. He shows up every single time. I'm going and I'm looking at him like, he's not that big. It's not like he's super big. I'm like, man, this dude shows up every single time, and I think he's a guy who's poised to make this team.
And I talked to Patrick Jones after practice today, and we'll have that on the pregame show Friday. But he is, back a year later almost. He's going back to like the end of September, early October last year when he had that back injury and then back surgery there. And I said, when did you feel like you were like physically all the way back? He said at the beginning of this camp. And then he goes out and gets that quarterback sack in the game this past week at Jacksonville. I mean, that was a guy that just like, he was going to be a big part of the rotation, and he just wasn't able to go more than 4 games because of the back problem last year. That's kind of like, again, we talk about some of the younger players and the free agent additions. That's a returning player that I think is going to be a key cog in the pass rush part of things on defense.
And there's no Nick Scorton. I mean, when you think about how stacked that we – like, I love what Dan Morgan was, putting together, because you think about how stacked we are at linebacker issues, at that edge rusher. The team, the culture has changed around that everybody's trying to get a sack now. Everybody's trying to go ahead and eat. People that you don't think of. I don't think about Princely eating like that, but he's shown up in every game. He's been there like rushing the quarterback. I'm like, my goodness, this dude is putting pressure on the quarterback and forcing people to make mistakes. And we hadn't seen that in a while. So this is going to be really outstanding.
It just seems they have more areas from which they can pressure the quarterback. Last year, you had Derek Brown on the inside, but teams were double-teaming him anyway, so he had to go earn it. And then with the injuries, Nick Scorton basically, as a rookie, became your second best or maybe best pass rusher. And that wasn't really fair to put Nick Scorton in that spot last year. Well, now you got Derek Jones on the inside. He's flanked at edge by Jalen Phillips. Princely and hopefully a healthy Pat Jones on the other side. Devin Lloyd can blitz the quarterback
about D. Lloyd.
from inside linebacker. We talked about using J.C. Horn, potentially coming off the nickel spot, blitzing the quarterback. Trayvon Merrick had close to double-digit TFLs last year. He's a guy that they have more ways to come at you now.
And when you've got guys you can depend on, as you would know, Eugene, in the back of the defense.
That's right.
You can be more gambling up front and send those blitzes, because that first year Jared was there, he wouldn't dare do that because it might be a 60-yard touchdown going over there.
Well, this time he can do it. Go ahead, let it eat, Coach. Let it eat.
That's why you were buying Reggie White and Bryce Pump dinner, right?
That's right, dude. Let it eat.
You've been listening to Panther Talk, brought to you by Firehouse Subs.
This has been Panther Talk, presented by Firehouse Subs on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network. Brought to you by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Coke. Fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Panther Talk. Panther Talk. Panther Talk.
This is the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
This episode sponsored by She's Birdie. Every woman knows that feeling, and She's Birdie knows it too. The just-in-case feeling. Just in case I hear something. Just in case someone tries the door. Just in case I need to wake up fast. It's not fear, it's awareness. And Birdie Box from She's Birdie was made for exactly that. Birdie Box is a portable travel door alarm designed by She's Birdie for hotels, dorms, Airbnbs, and anywhere you're staying away from home. It installs in seconds on the door frame, and if the door is opened, it activates a loud siren and flashing strobe to help draw attention instantly. She's Birdie, because peace of mind should check in with you. Birdie Box by She's Birdie. Visit shesbirdie.com. That's SHESBIRDIE.com, and order your Birdie Box before your next stay away from home.